Wrestling fans for wrestling's new era and the superstars of the Continental Wrestling Federation. This week, wrestling action from Black Bart, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, Nightmare Danny Davis, the Tennessee Stud Ron Fuller, the Japanese Connection Mr. Chono and the original RPM, and many more. Now, and the superstars of the Continental Wrestling Federation. This week, wrestling action from Black Bart, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, Nightmare Danny Davis, the Tennessee Stud Ron Fuller, the Japanese Connection Mr. Chono and the original RPM, and many more. Now, here's our host, Charlie Platt.
Well, hello, everybody. Charlie Platt welcoming you to the Continental Wrestling Federation tonight, coming from the Civic Center here in Montgomery, Alabama. An all-star lineup on the CWF. Big match of the day will be the Big Texan, Black Bart, taking on Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Before we get that match underway, I'd like to bring a fella out who has been absent from the Continental Wrestling Federation, a lot of the area for some time. He's busy wrestling all over the country. He's the United States heavyweight champion, the Tennessee Stud Ron Fuller, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a while since we've had a chance to have you here on television, Ron. The belt looks good, and you look fine with it.
Well, thank you, Charlie. It's my pleasure, and it's my pleasure to be in Montgomery, Alabama, the home of Continental Wrestling, and I'm looking forward on this program today to getting in action myself right here.
Tell you what, Ron, we have a very big matchup coming up in just a matter of moments here on the CWF, and the champion has joined us here at ringside, and before we get the match underway, we had some comments a little in the dressing room from Black Bart and Bam Bam Terry Gordy.
Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Well, coming up next, big boy, you got to get in the dadgum ring with none other than Black Bart. And let me tell you something, it ain't going to be no dadgum picnic. You stepped in the ring with me before in different places, but in the CWF, me and you ain't never locked horns. Well, buddy boy, coming up real soon, you're going to get the wrath of OBB, and ain't a dadgum thing that you can do about it. Bart, I've been hearing you've been running your mouth. We're going to find out who the Big Daddy is right here coming up. I want you to get ready. I want everybody else to get ready because it ain't going to be nothing but pure old pandemonium.
Well, there you have the pre-match comments. Both Gordy and Black Bart. Some matchup is going to be the CWF heavyweight champion has joined us, and I'm sure you'll be watching this with great interest, as well as the Tennessee Stud Ron Fuller.
Yeah, he may be the Tennessee Stud in Tennessee, but when it comes to anywhere else in the CWF, you're looking at the only stud there is.
All right, the one and only CWF heavyweight champion, the Dr. Tom Pritchard. I'd like to remind you, big wrestling action coming tonight at Dothan, Alabama, the showdown between the Riches and Stubbs and Anthony. Also, Sunday night, Montgomery, Alabama, the Civic Center. Monday, Birmingham's Boutwell Auditorium. On Tuesday, in Highland Home at the high school. On Thursday, we'll be in Vapin, Mississippi at the Hawthorne Elementary School. Friday, Columbus, Mississippi. Friday, March 3rd, watch out, Knoxville, a big lineup of the CWF coming your way. And on Saturday, March 11th, Chattanooga, Tennessee, mark it on your calendar. Those events coming up in the CWF, and the start of that big matchup coming up next between Bam Bam Terry Gordy and Black Bart. Stay with us.
Chattanooga, Tennessee, weighing in at 278 pounds, Terry Bam Bam Gordy.
The introductions have been given by Connie, and we're about ready for this matchup to get underway. Two giants of professional wrestling. Of course, Bam Bam Terry Gordy out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Black Bart out of the state of Texas. Right now in the ring, These two giants. Good move by Bam Bam Terry Gordy. Takes the big man from Texas down. And,
you know, Terry Gordy's been wrestling all over the world, Charlie. He's been to Japan, he's been to Asia, he's been to Singapore. He's been wrestling a lot overseas, and you really haven't been seeing him in the States as much. Now he comes back to the Continental Wrestling Federation, and he's trying to make his name well known again in the States like it was a few years back. Sure, he's a tremendous athlete. Sure, he's a big man. Sure, he's a great wrestler. But when you go overseas, you learn a different style. You come back to America, you may not be the same kind of man. And I think he's going to have trouble here with Black Bart, who has been wrestling over here in the States and knows just a little bit more about it than Terry Gordy does right now.
Interesting comments from the CWF heavyweight champion, Dr. Tom Pritchard. A side headlock now by the big man from Texas, Black Bart. I'd like to say at this particular point, a match of this caliber could run some time. If we do have to break away for a commercial, we'll bring you the results of that match as soon as the commercial break is over. If a pinfall should occur during any commercial break that we might have to take. Ran into a brick wall right there, Tom.
Like I said before, you got two original tough guys in the ring right now, and I don't think either one, whether it's pride, whether it's strength, no matter what it is, I don't think either one's going to break. It's going to take quite a lot to get Black Bart to break because he's got that double D Brandon iron, man, and I don't think he's going to go anywhere without it, especially against a guy like Terry Gordy.
And certainly has made quite a reputation of that Texas compactor move that he has in the CWF.
What they say about Texas, man, everything is bigger and better in Texas, and I got to agree with that.
There we go, Bam Bam Terry Gordy sweeping the left leg of Black Bart and begins to apply the pressure. Two giants in the ring here, two giants of professional wrestling. Still to come in action today, we'll be seeing the Midgets in action. Plus, we mentioned Nightmare Danny Davis. Wildcat Wendell Cooley will be out with us today. Also, the original Tennessee stud Ron Fuller will be in action a little bit later on in today's program. Right now, it's the two giants in the ring. Bam Bam Terry Gordy against Black Bart. And it'll be interesting to see who will gain the advantage in this particular contest, because I'll agree with Dr. Tom Pritchard. You've got two original bad men of pro wrestling in this one.
Well, tough guys. You know, you just saw Terry Gordy demonstrate that not only is a big man that knows how to fight, but he knows how to wrestle. And he used his head that time, too, by getting out of the way of a 300-pound man. But you notice how smart he is? He goes right back after the injured area, the leg, and he's using his smarts, man. I got to say that about the guy. He's not only big, he's not only bad, but he does use his head at times in the ring, and that's what does make him a dangerous competitor. That's what makes him dangerous when he's talking about the CWF championship or any championship in this area for that matter.
Bulk and power mean nothing without strategy behind it.
Well, that's true, man, because I'm not maybe as large as Terry Gordy, but I can guarantee you this, man. I know my wrestling. I'm a wrestling scientist, and anytime I step in the ring with Terry Gordy, Austin Idol, Danny Davis, Doug Furnace, it matters not to me, because I can take them off their feet. The bigger they are, the harder they're going to fall.
The strategy has been thrown out the door on this one right now. It's turned into a slugfest between Gordy and Black Bart. Black Bart going over the top rope, and Gordy right on the floor to take... There, man, this is erupting into a battle between these two giants.
Well, I know Bart's not going to back up, and I know Gordy ain't going to take too many steps backwards either. But you see, this is what I'm talking about, because you got two original bad guys. You got two guys that don't care. If you want to fight, they'll fight. If you want to wrestle, they'll still fight.
And this one has been counted out by ring official Larry Bronk. The battle continues on the floor, getting way out of hand at this particular point. Way out of hand.
I don't know if I want to be that cameraman down there right now.
We'll take a break and come back.
Don't miss the excitement of the Continental Wrestling Federation Thursday night in Biden, Mississippi in the Hawthorne Elementary School at 7:30. Thursday, March 16th in Ackerman, Mississippi in the high school at 7:30. And this Friday night, Friday, February 24th in Columbus, Mississippi in the Lavender Coliseum. Match time this Friday night is 8 o'clock. The main event has the Japanese Connection up against the Party Patrol. In a special challenge event, Dr. Tom Pritchard takes on the Dog. Also this Friday night, tag team action from the Alaskan Hunters as they take on Doug Furnace and Nightmare Danny Davis. In a special event, Black Bart takes on Wildcat Wendell Cooley. Also, the Dirty White Boy takes on Brad Anderson. Tickets go on sale at 6:30 this Friday night at the Coliseum. for this Friday night showing of the Continental Wrestling Federation in Columbus in the Lavender Coliseum. Match time is 8 o'clock. Don't miss the excitement of wrestling's new era, the Continental Wrestling Federation.
You know, they say every dog has his day. And they also say it's going to be a dog day afternoon. In Columbus, Mississippi, I can promise you there's going to be one dog with a lot of fleas and don't have both oars all in the water who's going to have a very long afternoon. And I can promise you, in Columbus, Mississippi, with everybody watching, I might let that dog on a long leash.
What a melee that turned out to be between Gordy and Black Bart. It took several minutes. We have been down from our taping right now to clear the Montgomery Civic Center, the mess that was made between those two. I tell you what, right now we have cameras standing by, and we have an irate Bam Bam Cherry Gordy in the dressing room. Let's hear his comments right now.
You know, Black Bart, I have to give credit where credit's due. You just put up a good fight right there. And let me say this, you know, we're going to Chattanooga. That's my hometown, Chattanooga, Tennessee. When we get to Chattanooga, we're going to have another fight right there, Bart. I'm going to beat you clear out them doors. I'm going to take you down Main Street. I'm going to take you all the way to the Tennessee River. And I'm going to tie a rock to you, boy. And I'm going to throw you over the bridge. Get ready, and Chattanooga's where it's going to happen.
Well, after that explosion, it would only be fair to the big man from Texas to hear what he has to say about that melee with he and Terry Gordy. So right now, let's hear what Black Bart has to say back in the dressing room.
Hey, Bam Bam Gordy! Well, son, I knew you was bad, but I didn't realize just how dadgum bad you was. Now in Chattanooga, on March the 11th, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, that's your dadgum home. That's where you live. That's where you breathe. Your family lives there. And guess what? You gotta look in that ring, and you gotta look at this ugly kisser right here. And I'm gonna turn you every way but loose. When I get through with you, Bam Bam, your old lady ain't gonna recognize you. Your mama is gonna throw you out. Let me tell you something. It's gonna start in Chattanooga, and then we're gonna carry the dadgum thing wherever you want. If you want to go down to the river, buddy, I've been there before, and ain't a dadgum thing you can do about it. I'm going to take you from pillar to post. I want you, and I want you bad.
Is another very important tag team combination in the CWF. And we've seen great action out of them the last few weeks on television. They have been under the leadership of Jonathan Holliday, but because of some things that have taken place between Mr. Holliday and the board of directors of the CWF, he has been barred from the Continental Wrestling Federation. The Hunters are the team we're talking about. They're great in action. They are a threat to the CWF Tag Team Champions and to all tag team combatants in the Continental Wrestling Federation. Right now, let's take a look at the Hunters in action.
No, another. Well, Joe, you know the old saying how it goes. Often imitated but never duplicated. This Jonathan Holliday, the universal heartburn, is going to have to prove himself to me and a whole lot of other people. And I'm talking about some high-powered people here in this on-fire Continental Wrestling Federation situation here. There's a lot of big-time talent. You take a look at these Hunters, man. They came here to hunt, and they have got their prey in the middle of the ring right now, Charlie. You know, and this is the kind of match I like to see. Of course, I don't want to see people like this and getting maimed and getting beat up and getting punished, but let's face it, this is professional wrestling. We're not wearing any shoulder pads, as you well know, Charlie. We're not wearing any protective headgear. This is kind of a catch-as-catch-can, man. You got to, if you can't take the heat, then you must get out of the kitchen. I know it's an old cliche, but it's just a fact, Charlie, and that's why this guy right here, this dude, is literally being pummeled by these two Hunters, who are definitely hungry. You saw that quick snap suplex, and that could have been a pinfall right there should he want to pin him. I don't think there's any question about it, Charlie. Those amateur moves, I love to see him. I love to see him. Beautiful drop kick.
Very good drop kick by the Hunter. I tell you what, speaking of Hunter and prey on their mind, they have the Continental Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championships on their mind, although We've got a war coming up in winter heat wave between the Riches and Stubbs and Anthony. A lot of changes have happened with the winter heat wave card. A lot of it because of the recent new AWA World Heavyweight Champion Dirty Dutch Mantell. That situation up in the air as far as the AWA Championship is concerned.
Well, of course, you know, when these belts are on the line, I mean, we're talking big bucks here. And you can ask any of the Continental wrestlers, my good friend Danny Davis, and the list goes on and on and on. Big, bad, Bam Bam Terry Gordy. I mean, this is a money situation right here. It ain't no games. You take a look at a move like that, brother, and if you don't think that wasn't shock treatment, then nothing was. It's all over. Hunters.
Hunters are your winners of the match on this edition of the Continental Wrestling Federation.
Don't miss the excitement of the Continental Wrestling Federation Thursday night in Byton, Mississippi in the Hawthorne Elementary School at 7:30. Thursday, March 16th in Ackerman, Mississippi in the high school at 7:30. And this Friday night, Friday, February 24th in Columbus, Mississippi in the Lavender Coliseum. Match time this Friday night is 8 o'clock. The main event has the Japanese Connection up against the Party Patrol. In a special challenge event, Dr. Tom Pritchard takes on the Dog. Also this Friday night, tag team action from the Alaskan Hunters as they take on Doug Furness and Nightmare Danny Davis. In a special event, Black Bart takes on Wildcat Wendell Cooley. Also, the Dirty White Boy takes on Brad Anderson. Tickets go on sale at 6:30 this Friday night at the Coliseum for this Friday night showing of the Continental Wrestling Federation in Columbus in the Lavender Coliseum. Match time is 8 o'clock. Don't miss the excitement of wrestling's new era, the Continental Wrestling Federation.
Hey, JR, Friday, February 24th, we're rolling on into Columbus, Mississippi against the RPM and Chono. Tell them what's going to happen.
That's right there in Columbus, Mississippi. You know the Riches would like to thank all you fans for staying behind us because you knew eventually we'd win these belts. You know, we fought long and hard, and we're going to fight long and hard to keep them. Let me tell you something. There's a new team, the Japanese Connection, Mike Davis and Chono. Well, Mike Davis, we remember you as an old RPM, and, brother, we ain't forgot you. And something else we ain't forgot. Dirty White Boy, stick your nose in there. Come on down.
This is a special Midgets match scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from parts unknown, weighing in at 130 pounds, the Masked Midget. His opponent, from Texas, weighing in at 125 pounds, Butch Cassidy.
All right, back to action on the Continental Wrestling Federation. Butch Cassidy against the Masked Midget. This special attraction brought to you by the Continental Wrestling Federation. We still got a lot of great action to come on today's program. We'll be seeing Nightmare Danny Davis a little later on. Hearing from Wendell Cooley, the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller in action. And these midgets are something else to see. And along with Dr. Tom Pritchard at our broadcast desk, a former colleague of mine, we worked together up and down the roads in country radio for some time. He is... got one of the hottest radio programs in the state of Alabama on one of the, sure enough, we call it powerhouses in country radio in America, part of the Continental, part of the Colonial chain. We're talking about Don Hart from WLWI in Montgomery. And Don, great to have you and your entire family out enjoying the matches of the CWF in this capacity crowd tonight.
Oh, I'll tell you what, this Montgomery crowd, these wrestling fans, really are loud and supportive. I haven't seen this kind of action, especially Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Black Bart.
Wasn't that something?
Tough. They were in the ring and out of the ring and in the ring, and they were all over the place.
They were all over this building, and I tell you what, it's great to have you out enjoying the CWF, and always great to hear you on the radio every night.
I tell you what, it's great to be here, and it's great to be a fan of the CWF.
Thank you very much, Don. Just stay right here with us. Doc, were you able to see that on the monitor a few moments ago between Gordy and Black Bart?
Yeah, I was out here watching it right with you, Charlie, if you remember or not, and I told you from the very beginning that maybe Terry Gordy better watch what he's getting into when he's facing Black Bart, because I told you, these are two original tough guys, two guys that if you want to wrestle, they'll still fight you till their dying breath.
I mean, even after we went for the break, this thing went on, 10 minutes or so it took them to clear this building up. And as Don said, it went up one aisle, down the other, and back to the dressing rooms and back out into the ring again. And I understand that coming up, we do have a match between these two, and it's in Terry's hometown, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Well, if you're trying to give Terry Gordy an advantage in his hometown, Chattanooga, Tennessee, I don't know if that's really necessary or not, because Black Bart needs no advantage whenever he steps in the ring. He steps in the ring with just him and his double B Brandon Iron, and it doesn't take a hometown favorite like Terry Gordy to beat Black Bart. It could be in Chattanooga, it could be in Birmingham, Alabama, it could be in Montgomery. It doesn't matter to Black Bart or anybody else around here.
And good observation by the Dr. Tom Pritchard. Right now in the ring, we've got Butch Cassidy against the Masked Midget. Good suplex. And you talking about some action-packed matches. You'll see it when you see the midgets in the ring anytime.
Yeah, I wonder who the Masked Midget really is, man. Could it be Danny Davis in disguise? Or do you have any more friends out here, Charlie, that maybe want to come out and talk from another radio station? I thought this was professional wrestling. We had Tom Owens out here all the time, and then you got to bring somebody else from a radio station, man. That's why you're on the radio, because TV, I don't think, would put you anywhere near it.
I tell you what, Mr. Pritchard, Don Hart not only knows country music backwards and forwards, he knows professional wrestling maybe better than you.
I doubt that very seriously. Not only do I know more about rock and roll than he probably does, I know for a fact he doesn't know more about wrestling than I do.
The history of wrestling?
Where do you want to start?
I might have a match on that one night on the trivia questions. I tell you what, this guy knows it. Good suplex now by Butch Cassidy. And 2 count, and he powers out. As we said, this whole crowd still buzzing in the Montgomery Civic Center about the big deal with Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Black Bart. Right now it's Butch Cassidy going up on that second rope, coming down with the elbow into the chest of the Masked Midget. And that should wrap it up on that one. Your winner of the match is Butch Cassidy. And still to come on the Continental Wrestling Federation, we'll be hearing from Wendell Cooley. We'll be hearing from the Riches, Mr. Chono. The RPM will be in action. We'll also be seeing the Tennessee stud Ron Fuller, the USA heavyweight champion, Nightmare Danny Davis, and a host of others. What we're trying to say is don't go anywhere, folks. The action continues from the Montgomery Civic Center. Thank you, Don Hart, for coming out and joining us. And thank you ever so much, Dr. Pritchard. Nightmare Danny Davis is next. You stay with us.
From Trenton, Georgia, weighing in at 230 pounds, Pat Rose.
Hello. Hello again. Hello.
His opponent from the USA, weighing in at 226 pounds, the United States Junior Heavyweight Champion, Nightmare Danny Davis.
Nightmare Danny Davis in action against Pat Rose on this edition of the Continental Wrestling Federation. A lot of great action still to come. The bell sounds. We're ready for action. A lot happening in the career of Danny Davis. He's wanting matches with Mr. Chono and the RPM and the Hunters. There's verbal things that have erupted and spilled over into some physical action between he and Chono and RPM.
Yeah, Danny Davis has been making a lot of challenges. He's making a lot of statements lately around the dressing rooms, maybe at interviews, and he's been doing a lot of tough talk himself, like he's a pretty big guy. But, you know, he's got a guy right there called Pat Rose that's a pretty big man, and he's got to get through this opposition before he even starts talking about top guys like Chono and the RPMs and the Hunters, man.
Pat Rose, an outstanding professional wrestler, has quite a background in this sport and has quite an impressive record. We've seen Pat Rose in action for a number of years. It's Rose now going after the left arm. Good reversal by Nightmare Danny Davis and a little possible pulling of the hair.
Oh, well, maybe it's just a little strategy Pat had because he knows Danny Davis is a fine-tuned athlete, and sometimes you got to get a head start on a guy like that. Sometimes you maybe do have to go around the block and maybe take a shortcut here and there because Danny Davis is the kind of guy that likes to go to the gym every day. He trains hard. He goes to church on Sundays. He prays with his kids and dogs. He's a fantastic super citizen, and everyone looks up to him. He's such a great guy, but you know, the bottom line comes down to this. You can be a nice guy all your life. You can kiss babies. You can love everything in life. but that's not going to get you top. That's not going to get you money, and that's what we're all here for. And if Danny Davis wants to continue on his road to success in life, more power to him. But I'm here to say I don't think he's got what it takes to get there.
Okay. There you hear the comments, not necessarily our own, from the Continental Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion, Dr. Tom Pritchard. Also like to mention that coming up is the Tri-Cities Tag Team Tangle coming to Bristol, Tennessee in the future. So,
I tell ya.
folks around Bristol, keep your eyes and ears out.
And like I said out here earlier, you had the Tennessee Stud. But when I go to Tennessee, and everybody knows this, whether it's Knoxville or Bristol, I am the Tennessee Stud that week.
Okay. There again.
You can ask anybody about that.
Okay. And it's Nightmare Danny Davis, the United States Junior Heavyweight Champion, with the hammerlock on the left arm of Pat Rose. Rose comes out beautifully and goes for the pin, but not enough there to hold him, and Davis certainly has to be weakened down considerably before you need to think about going for a pin on this man.
Well, yeah, but, you know, Pat Rose is one of those guys that has a hair-trigger attitude himself. You can make him mad, and he might come in a spurt at you. And I've seen him in a couple bar fights. I've seen him have to fight his way out of a bar, as a matter of fact. And I know that Danny Davis is a tremendous athlete. He's a tremendous wrestler. But how can he do against somebody that might want to fight with him?
I think it goes back to what we had a conversation about earlier in today's program. Bulk and power get you nowhere without strategy.
Yeah, it's true. Very true. You got to use your brain. You can be the biggest guy in the world, and somebody can come right up and catch your legs right out from under you.
And although I might not believe with your philosophy on professional wrestling now or your philosophy on life, Doc, I'll say this. You are a great scientific wrestler, and you certainly have to be for withstanding the punishment that you withstood on a certain night in Birmingham and winning that Continental Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship, and you still have the title around your waist. You're meeting all comers.
Well, thank you very much. I got to agree with you. I'm a tremendous scientific wrestler, and every time I step in the ring, I demonstrate the scientific skills I have. I know how to wrestle, but I guarantee you got guys out there that want to fight you, and I'm coming at a fight just like I do anything else in my life, full steam ahead, and if it means losing this belt, if it means keeping this belt, that's what I'm going to do, man.
Series of crisscrosses by Davis and Rose came up with a barnstorm clothesline there that has certainly taken the win from the sail of Danny Davis.
Yeah, you don't want to sell anybody short when you step in the ring. That's another thing. Danny may be giving the guy a chance. He may not be taking him too seriously, but you'll see where he's got him right now in a reverse chin lock. And Danny Davis, again, you can't underestimate him either, because he's been the United States Junior Heavyweight Champion, and he's been doing moves like that that got him the belt.
All right. It's over. The winner of the match is Nightmare Danny Davis and the U.S. Junior Heavyweight Champion. We've got a lot of great action still to come on the Continental Wrestling Federation. In fact, don't go anywhere. Next in action on the program will be the USA Heavyweight Champion. He is the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. Right now, if you would like wrestling in your local area as a fundraiser, here's some words from the Continental Wrestling Federation about how you can have us in your hometown. What many wrestling fans think too long from the Continental Wrestling Federation, and it's our privilege to have him back in the CWF, Wildcat Wendell Kool-Aid. And Wildcat, a lot of things happening. What action we've seen today. Still a lot of great action to come. A lot of things are happening throughout the Continental Wrestling Federation area.
Well, I tell you, Charlie, it's good to be back. And, you know, I was just sitting back there feeling something a while ago, and it kind of got a little warm all over, you know, and I started getting red and flushed. And when I walked out here and I looked around, I seen everybody else was kind of feeling it too, you know, and I think it's a fever, Charlie. I think the fever's going around, and I think I've got it, and by gosh, I think maybe you got it too, because you look a little red, and it's called Wildcat Fever. Huh? You've heard about Hulkamania running wild. Well, I tell you, the Wildcat Fever has covered the CWF area, and I got a bad case of it, Charlie. And me and these people right here, we got a lot of things to do, and we're going to start out number one. We're going to get the CWF heavyweight belt back, and Tom Pritchard's number one on our list. And they may force me to get into some tag team competition, which I really don't care about, but I'll do it if I have to, Charlie, because there's a lot of top contenders around here that would be very good to have as a partner. But these people around here know I do my thing the best, and I do it by myself, and that's the way I like to do things, Charlie. And I'm going to start out with number 1, Tom Pritchard. I heard him out here talking a while ago that he may be the only stud around the CWF area. Well, I don't know too much about that. Huh? I don't know too much about that, Charlie Platt, but I will tell you one thing, Tom Pritchard. You're a top contender for the World Heavyweight title because he holds the CWF title, and that's what I'm here to get, Charlie Platt. And I will get it before I leave.
Wildcat Wendell Cooley. Speaking of studs, the Tennessee Stud will be in action when we return on this edition of the Continental Wrestling Federation. You stay with us.
Bo Elliot. His opponent from Knoxville, Tennessee, weighing in at 270 pounds, USA heavyweight champion, the Tennessee Stud.
Climbs into the ring against Bo Elliott. And more great matchups still to come on the CWF today. You'll be seeing in action Mr. Chono and the RPM. A lot of great action still to come. Bo Elliott trying to gain all the momentum he can from the very onset of this match. 2 count, and the Tennessee Stud powers out. And coming out to join us at the desk, Mr. Perfect Jerry Stubbs, Tony Anthony, the Dirty White Boy, and the Dirty White Girl.
You know, I only got a few things to say, Charlie Platt, but you know, sometimes somebody digs a hole that they can't crawl out of. And sometimes they back themselves into a corner that they can't get out of. Now, the Riches, that's exactly what's happened. They back themselves into something that they can't get out of. And I guarantee you, Charlie Platt, before it's all over, they're going to be gone.
All right.
You heard that, didn't you, Charlie Platt?
The showdown is tonight in Dothan. I know that.
Dothan, but what I want to know is this long-legged drink of water out here that calls himself a Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. How come he ain't got enough guts to put that U.S. title on the line against me?
Well, I really don't know.
You have guts. He don't have the guts to put it against the white boy.
There's
You see
that
how
leg
long
lock.
he did, he would lose it.
Exactly.
That's why he don't do it. You know, people call him being smart. Well, this is the man that's smart.
That's it, because you see that Fuller leg lock. Well, see, I know a little something about that Fuller leg lock because I know that boy right there has had all kinds, I know of at least 3 major surgeries to that leg. So that's the reason right there that the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller, will not give me a shot at that U.S. title because I'd twist that leg in so many knots and walk away the USA heavyweight champion.
You hear it. An obvious challenge for the Tennessee Stud from the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony.
I'm making it right here. I am challenging Ron Fuller if he's got enough guts to accept it. You let me know, Charlie.
There you hear it from Tony Anthony. We'll be back with more great action on the CWF. You watch this.
ガキが2人ゴタゴタしたぶっ潰すぞこの野郎。よく言ったかほら。コロンブブミシシッピかほらどこだか知んねえけどよ。おい、ぶっ潰しちゃうんだろてめえら2人。
The new champions, the Riches. Well, look at what's going to be the new champions when we come to Columbus, Mississippi. You're looking at the Japanese connection. And I guarantee you, Riches, you may have fought long and hard, but you hadn't fought long and hard enough.
Heavyweight champion, but Dr. Tom Pritchard, who in the recent weeks has met with a bit of dismay from a man who seems to be causing a lot of problems, thorn in your side, if you will, the dog.
Well, you see, like I said before, every dog has his day. But you see, it could also be a very, very long afternoon for anybody. Be it a dog, be it Terry Gordy, be it Wildcat Wendell Cooley, be it Danny Davis, be it anybody. Even you, Austin Idol, and Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. It could be a long dog day afternoon if you want to step in the ring with the CWF heavyweight champion.
I'll tell you what, let's do right quick. Let's take a look at what happened with the dog in action recently on the CWF.
That's right. Instead of the AWA World Heavyweight Champion, now it seems like the CWF has thrown in another obstacle at me. You throw in a guy like the dog,
against the CWF champion in the biggest card in Knoxville in a long time, the winner Heat Wave.
Well, a big back body drop, and now Mr. Martin finds himself face down on the concrete floor here at the Montgomery Civic Center. The dog goes outside and obviously going to lend some assistance to Mr. Martin in getting in, and he does.
You know something? I just was thinking of something, man. In Knoxville, on the winter heat wave, if the ice is still down for that hockey rink, I can guarantee you, I think we just might know it that night.
All right.
I might let the dog out, too.
All right, Tom Pritchard. Whoa, shoulder breaker by the dog. Well executed. It looks like he's going to have a pinfall, and your winner of the match is the dog. The dog in action on the Continental Wrestling Federation, and as we said, causing a bit of problems and turmoil for the CWF Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, I don't know what they think they're trying to do, putting anybody like the dog in there against me, but I'll have to show you and everybody else in the Continental area that I am a man to be reckoned with, man or beast.
All right, the Continental Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion, the Dr. Tom Pritchard. Tonight's a showdown. Riches, Dirty White Boy, and Mr. Perfect Jerry Stubbs and Open at the Farm Center tomorrow night. Of course, Montgomery, the Civic Center. Then on Monday night, Birmingham, Super Tag Team Night in Birmingham. On Tuesday, Highland Home, Alabama at the high school. On Thursday, we're in Baden, Mississippi, Hawthorne Elementary School. On Friday, Columbus, Mississippi. Then wrestling on Friday, March 3rd in K-Town, Knoxville, and returning to Chattanooga on the 11th. A lot's happening in the CWF. Come out and be a part of it in your local area. Big tag action coming up next with Mr. Chono and the RPM. You stay with us.
It's scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Hollywood, California, weighing in at 250 pounds, Gene Spurlock. His partner from Hollywood, California, weighing in at 251 pounds, Buddy Marlowe, Jr. Their opponent, weighing in at a combined weight of 464 pounds, Mr. Chono and the original RPM, the Japanese Connection.
The RPM and Mr. Chono in action on today's edition of the Continental Wrestling Federation. Bell sounds, we're ready for action. And just received word a moment ago that Ron Fuller of the Tennessee Stud is not backing down at all from the challenge issued by the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony. He has said that on next week's program, he has agreed to defend the USA Heavyweight Championship on television against Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony.
I would be so anxious to put that USA belt up against a guy like the Dirty White Boy. Especially on TV?
Especially on TV is a good point by the CWF Heavyweight Champion, Tom Pritchard. And I do know for a fact that Tony Anthony does know the history of Ron Fuller's wrestling career. He also knows the history of injuries that have occurred, and the 3 times that Tony Anthony mentioned, I know of personally, surgery has been done on the knee of the Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller. And bar none, Tony Anthony will do anything he can to get that USA Heavyweight Championship if it means breaking the leg and tearing the knee permanently.
Yeah, he might just take that bad wheel of Ron Fuller and show him what a wheelchair is for.
Right now, Mr. Chono and the RPM really embracing this team.
The Hollywood Playboys.
Spurlock and Marlowe. Like to mention that problems continue to seem to be arising between the Riches and the RPM and Mr. Chono, and no one will speak up on what's going on under the surface between these two teams.
Well, you see, what I think it may come down to is jealousy between the Riches and the Japanese Connection. You have Mr. Chono, who is a very fine-tuned wrestler. He trained over in Japan, and then he's got his very good friend Mike Davis, who, after on a tour of Japan, became very close to Chono and told him, you need to come over here to the States, come back and let me help you out. get you some top matches here in the Continental Wrestling Federation. And it seems like the Riches are making headway as a tag team in this area right now. And maybe they're a little bit jealous because Chono has all the resources. He has all the money he needs, and he can get almost anything he wants in this area right now.
Right now it's Chono. Inverted atomic drop.
To see a team like this doesn't even deserve to be in the ring with the Japanese connection because all they're going to get is a wrestling match.
Okay, the Dr. Tom Pritchard speaking his mind once again. And the Japanese connection certainly causing a lot of waves in the CWF. Tag is made with Mr. Chono, the man with the money, we might add, from Japan.
Well, you got a guy like Mike Davis, who I've known Mike now for a little while, and he's got a devious way of thinking. They got a Japanese guy here that he's showing the ropes over here in the United States that gives them endless resources, money to go out, and they acquire businesses over here. And from what I understand, he may be even trying to acquire the Continental Wrestling Federation for their own purposes. You see?
Now, wait a minute.
Well, you never know. Mike's been talking about getting companies. Mike's been talking about ruling the professional wrestling scene right here. And right now, they're on the road to doing it. Chono and him work so good together as a team. They're like a fine-tuned machine. And the Rich, or whoever these guys are in the ring right now, you got to be careful.
It's over. Your winners of the match are Mr. Chono and the RPM, the Japanese connection. They're just not letting this thing in.
Oh. They want to make an impression here, and if it's got to be some guys like this, they're going to make it of some guys like this. This is what could happen to anybody that steps in the ring with the Japanese connection. A DDT. Ha! That shows you.
Well, we'll see. I'll tell you what, this is certainly uncalled for. We need some help out here. The Riches are getting in the ring. What's going to happen? Let's get out of this.
This is uncalled for here.
Don't miss the excitement of the Continental Wrestling
Cast podium now, the Rich cousins, Johnny and Davey. And gentlemen, I tell you what, a lot of things are happening in the CWF Big Showdown tonight in Dothan, Alabama.
That's right, Charlie. It's all coming down tonight in Dothan. The final showdown between us and the Dirty White Boy and Jerry Stubbs. Let me tell you something, Charlie. We're tired of all the dirty mistreatment that they've been doing, all the little tricks and everything. The Riches came in here to the CWF with one thing on their mind, and that was to win them titles. And, Charlie, that's exactly what we plan on doing, and that's what we're going to do before we leave.
We haven't forgot this arm yet, Charlie. They're going to pay for this. They busted Johnny's head. We're going to be ready tonight in Dothan, Alabama.
There's a lot of things seem to be brewing under the surface between you two and the Japanese connection.
Well, you know, Charlie, they coming out here, they're running roughshod over everybody. If they want some competition, let them get in the ring with the Riches. We'll get out there anytime they want to. But, you know, like we said, though, tonight, in just a little while, in Dothan, it's the big showdown, and we can't wait. We're going, huh? Circle City, look out. Here come the Riches, baby.
All right, Johnny and Davey Rich, I tell you what, next week we'll see them in action on the Continental Wrestling Federation. A lot of great action. Don't forget, fans in Birmingham, special night Monday night at the Bethel Auditorium. Don't you dare miss it. Also, next week in action we'll have Wildcat Wendell Cooley. More on this situation between the two big giants and the storm brewing between Bam Bam Cherry Gordy and Black Bart. Also on next week's program we'll have mixed tag team action with the Midgets. And next week, it has been agreed to, it has been signed, a USA Heavyweight Championship match. The Tennessee stud Ron Fuller will defend against the Dirty White Boy Tony Anthony. A lot of great action taking places in your arenas. Be sure and come out and be part of the Continental Wrestling Federation. And a lot of action will take place on next week's program. You don't dare miss it. Thanks to all the fine folks here in the Montgomery Civic Center for another outstanding hour of the Continental Wrestling Federation. We thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining us at home. For the Continental Wrestling Federation, Charlie Platt saying so long from Montgomery.